Ahoy there, YouTube! I'm back again today for another game review. And today we're excited to check out Bad Doctor from Mayday Games. This is for 2 to 4 players, take about 30 to 40 minutes to play, and it's for ages 10 plus. And in Bad Doctor, you're playing as, well, a bad doctor who on your shift is going to try to visit as many patients as you can and just keep people alive. You're not necessarily trying to cure them, and in fact, when you try to help them, most of the time it's going to make things worse. But as long as they don't die on your shift, you're good, right? Right? I don't know. It's a very interesting concept for the game, and surprisingly, the theme comes across very well, but does the game hold up? Let's open it up, and I'll tell you what I think. Alright then, we're going to take a look at what you're going to get inside of Bad Doctor. So first and foremost, we have our handy-dandy rule booklet. It is 5 pages, double-sided, full color, full of pictures, illustrations, examples. It's pretty well done. I felt like it could have been just a smidge bit clearer. Like when we were first learning the game, we did have some hiccups here and there. But overall, once you know what you're doing, it's a really simple game and a pretty well done rule booklet, but could be better. So in Bad Doctor, this is a game where you are trying to not let patients die. You're not necessarily trying to cure those patients. You just don't want them to die on your watch, because if they die on your watch, it's really bad for you and really good for the other doctors who are able to keep them alive. The first person to get 8 points in their score pile right here is going to win the game. But let's go over the components, then let's get into the gameplay. So component-wise, you're always going to have 4 patients out here. There is one special tile which will allow you to put a 5th patient out there, which really makes things incredibly difficult. You're going to have these health tokens pretty much, and if a player's health tokens are ever over all their vital heart symbols right there, then that patient has died, and the person whose turn it is going to have to deal with the ramifications of that. You have 2 different types of tiles. You have more patients, which will look something like this. They'll have some humorous artwork on there about bad stuff that's going to happen to them, and also around the outside it shows you how many different ailments or cures you're going to have to give this person. Doctors are going to have to give them in order to cure them. But as I said, curing people is very difficult in this game. The other type of tiles you're going to get are these tiles right here, which you'll be able to place on the patients in order to make them feel better, to visit them and say, hey, I did my job, I'm a doctor, I visited this person. Also on the bottom, on the purple spot, they're always going to have a special thing you can do. Draw 2 treatment tiles, draw 1 treatment tile, and that's what you're going to see most of the time. But sometimes they'll allow you to move cubes around or take away cubes or do different things like that. Next, you're going to have your player board right here. It's very, very useful. This is incredibly useful. It'll tell you exactly what you need to do on your turn, and you can be a dude or you can be a lady. So always nice to see that. But let's show you what you're going to do on your turn. So on your turn, it says right here, you're going to perform 2 actions. Now the first turn, what you're going to do is you're going to draw a tile and place a tile. So I'll just take my first turn. I will draw a tile, and then I'm going to place a tile. Oh, that's a patient. Whoops. So draw one of these. So, let's see. I'm going to go ahead and draw 2 treatment tiles by placing this somewhere. So I will place it right here. So I place it right there. I cover the yellow to the yellow. And now, as you see, it's actually harder to cure this person because now they have a red, a purple, and a green. And in order to cure a person, all these spots have to be completely filled up. So that person is now going to be really hard to cure. But I take one of my color doctor things right there to say, hey, I did my job. I took care of this person for the day. And also, whenever you do that, you're going to flip a person over. And down here, it'll say a patient is visited when one of 4 things happens. A treatment tile is added to the patient, which is what I did here. A treatment tile is removed from the patient. A complication cube is added to the patient, or a complication cube is removed from the patient. So as long as you're the doctor and you do anything to a person on a turn, then they will be visited. Now, why is that important? Why they're visited? Well, let's continue down this little turn track right here, and I'll tell you. So on your turn, I drew a tile and I placed a tile. I did my 2 actions. Then I score points if a patient is cured. Nobody's cured. Add complication cubes to non-visited patients. So since I did not visit this guy, he gets a complication cube. Complication cube for you, and a complication cube for you, which is really bad for the next player because, as you can see, these 3 people are about to die. So prepare for the next shift, which just means I'm going to flip this back over. Then the next person's going to take their turn. So let's take a look at the next person. They, unfortunately, once again, have to draw 2 and place 2. So hopefully they can get lucky here. Yeah. Actually, that's pretty good. So they're going to draw a tile, and they might place it right here.
So remove one complication cube from a patient. So they can play this right here. And as you can see, you're going to need a good deal of table space for the 4 patients because they will start branching out, which means this person has been visited. And let's just pretend it's yellow, I guess. Let's just get the red guy. So it's the red guy's turn. He would place that right there. And then he also gets to remove a complication cube for somebody, so he might remove it from this person right here. So that person has been visited as well, which means that when we get to the add complication cubes, the only person who's going to get it is this person right here, who unfortunately is going to die. Womp, 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 womp. Now, it could be a lot worse, because here's what happens when a patient dies. When a patient dies, you're going to take one of your score markers, and it is gone from the game. You cannot score these points. So actually, it'd be one of the red score markers would be completely gone from the game, because it was the red person's turn. These go away, this person goes away. But what more interestingly can happen sometime is, let's say that this patient died on the green player's turn. So the green player would lose one of their tokens, but the red player, since they did their job, is actually going to score, and they would put this into their red scoring pile, like so. So if you had 2 or 3 times you visited a particular patient, you're really hoping for them to die, because if they die, you're going to get points, and hence the name Bad Doctor. You're not trying to cure these people, you're just trying to look good for yourself. Now, on the off chance you actually cure someone, you get to score all the different tiles you have on there, and no one else gets to score. So, there you go. When someone dies, the person who lets them die is going to get no points, and in fact, they're going to lose the ability to get 1 point, but everybody else who's on that tile is going to score their points, and then you put out a new 4th person like so, and you rinse, wash, and repeat until someone has 8 in their score pile, at which point they will be the winner of Bad Doctor. And that, in a nutshell, is how the game is played. A couple more things. Let's just go over some of the other different things you might see out here, because I know you're really digging the art style, or you're not, but I really dig it. So unfortunately, your coverage stopped at death. We got the coffee jitters, so each one has like an ailment where it's like, oh, coffee jitters there. 2 left feet. You got occupational injury, and they really, it feels like a webcomic, and I'm pretty sure that's because the artist for this was a webcomic. But that in a nutshell is what you're going to get inside of Bad Doctor.
Alrighty then, Bad Doctor from Mayday Games. What are my final thoughts? Let's go over the pros, let's go over the cons. First, on the con side, game's not going to be for everybody for a variety of different reasons. 2 to 4 players, restricted player count. Also, the rules could have been better, and I can't pinpoint what exactly it was. I read the rule booklet dry, and it seemed like it was going to be a very smooth game. So pretty much I read the rule booklet without having any of the components, not having the game in front of me, and I was like, oh yeah, it's going to be a pretty simple game. But then when we actually got to the game and we started to play, it was a little bit bumpier than I would like it to be, because we had a couple questions that either weren't answered or I couldn't find the answer easily. It's not a bad rule booklet, but I felt it could have been a smidge bit better. Also, on the con side, the game is repetitive. It is just a very simple tile laying game. You're going to, on your turn, either draw a tile or play a tile. Those are the only 2 actions you can take. And you can draw 2 tiles, or you can place 2 tiles if you want to get absolutely wild and nutty, but that's it. And that leads me to another con. I really wish there was more of those purple special abilities. I felt like there was way too many draw 1 or draw 2 tiles, because, I don't know, I just wanted a little bit more variety in what those tiles did. Because I think, it's in the back of the rulebook. I think there's only like maybe 6 or 7 different things that they could do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 9 different things that are on those tiles. And I just wanted more variety. I would have liked to have seen 12 or 13 or 14 or 15. Maybe even 16 if we're going nuts here. So I wish there was more variety in those tiles. It does get repetitive in some aspects of the game. The artwork is going to be very hit or miss, and as is the theme. So the artwork itself, I really liked it, and I thought it was funny, and I chuckled at it. And I'll tell you more about that in the pros. But the theme itself is a very dark, grim theme. You're doctors, and you're just trying not to kill people. And in fact, when you're trying to help people, you're so bad at your job that you're actually making them worse. You're actually making it that they're more likely to die. And a lot of people aren't going to like that theme. A lot of people are going to be turned off by the fact that you score points when someone else fails and kills their patient. And when you really look at it like that, it's like, But it's done in a very tongue-in-cheek manner, and everybody I played it with thought it was a humorous theme, and actually liked the theme as well, which is saying something, because, I played it 3 times, and I played it with 6 different people? Yeah, I think 6 different people. And they all thought the theme was pretty humorous, as did I. Any other cons that I have with the game? No, I mean it's a really simple tile laning game. It's core. It is on the more simple side, and most of the time the choices that you need to make are pretty obvious choices. There's not like wild, crazy paths that you can do on your turn. It's like, oh, this tile is going to let me, essentially tick off 2 patients, as opposed to this tile, which is only going to let me tick off 1 patient. I'm going to play the one that does 2. This person's about to die, and this person's not about to die. I will take care of the person who's about to die. Very simple choices. It feels actually like a family weight game, aside from the theme and the artwork. And even the artwork you could probably get away with. But the theme, definitely not family weight. But moving on to the pros, I thought Bad Doctor was a good to great game, and I can recommend it. Now, me personally, I'm not going to be keeping it because it's in that 2 to 4 player count, which is incredibly hard to get to the table. But I can see a lot of people really enjoying this game and keeping the game for a couple different reasons. So first and foremost, it's not a game that's overly difficult. This is the kind of game where you can get it out once every few months, just browse through the rule booklet, and you'll know exactly how to play the game, which is really nice. I love games like that, where I don't have to sit down for 30 or 40 minutes to read the rule booklet, reread the rule booklet each time I want to play. Because yes, it might be an absolutely stellar game, but I don't want to spend that much time having to re-rule the rules when someone's like, oh yeah, I've heard really good things about this game. You're like, yeah, it's spectacular. Do you mind sorting those out while I read this? Yep. I hate that. So that's good. I think this is kind of game, it's just a grab and play kind of game. It doesn't outstay its welcome, about the 30 to 40 minute range, and I'd say it's just about that range. The artwork and the humor in this game come across really well in my personal opinion, but that's a your mileage may vary kind of thing. The theme, though, that's not a your mileage may vary kind of thing. The theme comes across really, really well in this game, and and at least we started like role playing a little bit and hamming it up, like, oh yeah, nobody's dying on my shift, and that made the game even more fun. The scoring is quick and clean, and it makes sense, and it's easy to explain. The game itself is easy to teach. It's a very easy to teach game, which is always a good thing. I do like the double-sided boards. I feel like that's just something that every company should do if it doesn't cost too much extra, because it's really simple. And I don't want to play as a woman. I don't, and I imagine most women would rather play as a woman as opposed to a dude. I think that's just human nature. Like, if I'm playing as a doctor, I would like the doctor, to look like me. But that's actually let me know in the comments below kind of thing. But yeah, in the end, Bad Doctor is a game I can recommend. I think it's a good to great game. For me personally, it swings more on the good side, but I could see this going over really well, especially with doctors. I think doctors would really get a kick out of this game, as seeing the artwork, seeing the humor in the game. I think they could empathize with a lot of stuff in the game. But there you go. Bad Doctor from Mayday Games. I think it's a good to great game. Not one that I'm going to be keeping because of the 2 to 4 player count and the lack of more purple special abilities, but still one that I can recommend you might want to check out. Try before you buy sort of game, though, for sure. If you enjoyed this review, please be sure to click on that subscribe button down below in the comments below. Let me know when you pick a character. If you have a choice between your sex or a different sex, which one do you generally pick? For me personally, I always pick my own sex. I don't think I've ever, willingly chose to play as a woman, just because I'm a guy. You know what? I take that back. I actually take that back. And I'm going to say when there's asymmetrical special abilities, then I focus more on the special abilities as opposed to the sex of the character. Because if this person does a super cool special ability that I like better than somebody else's other special ability, then I'll pick the woman over the man 99 times out of 100. But for the most part, I do, if I'm playing Munchkin or something like this, I will pick the man over the woman. Let me know in the comments below. Do you do that? I'm interested. And as always, thanks for your time, YouTube.